And are we live? Oh, yeah, I think we are. Are we live? Are we live? Oh, I don't know why that.
Oh, this one here.
Here.
Yep, there
Right?
we are. Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, I was way over there. Okay.
We're live.
Okay. Oh, because I'm using this. But do we want to do this?
Do which one?
This one or no?
No, this is that.
Oh.
Sorry guys, we getting our life together.
Are you sitting here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, this is tough.
Welcome everyone.
Yes.
Let's see. Let some folks cycle in.
Okay, so Ashley said she's not on.
No, she's not on yet. She's in the guest room. For the green room.
Oh.
Yeah. We got virtual exclusivity up in this piece. I'm so excited. Alright, so we're streaming.
Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Cool.
Hey, do you want to maybe shut that off?
Yeah.
And we're just gonna be Zeke Doo's gonna be rocking out eating some veggie straws with us tonight, everybody. Oh, here you go, buddy. There you go.
My main man.
Yes.
All right.
This is Patsy. Yeah, it's Patsy. Okay. The beauty of parenting, and man,
The beauty and the joys.
Yes.
Sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches.
Yeah.
And my man has just been up at night, keeping us up. And yeah.
Okay, so we're using that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am so excited. My gosh, really excited about this. And man, you and Ashley go way back.
Way back.
Go way back.
Way back to the King High School days. Shout out 56 and Slide.
Yeah. Are you gonna bring Ashley?
Yes.
In? I have, if I'm looking down, guys, I have a bio that I just am gonna read, just because. Lord have mercy, heavy rain.
So
of course,
we live in northwestern Alabama, and we live in a valley. So, Lord, please bless this conversation. I saw the light flicker earlier, and the weather and the devil don't want us to be great. So, Lord, I pray that you would intervene in the middle of this great conversation that we're going to have. Thanks so much for Ashley and her willingness, God.
Yes.
Continue to bless her and flourish her business
Yes.
and her ability to write and tell her story that will transform many lives. In Jesus' name, amen.
Man, I'm so excited, and I won't hold this up here. So, just want to introduce author and life coach Ashley Hicks. She has written 2 books that are a part of a series: Rebirth, Finding Triumph After Trauma, and Rebirth 2, Overcoming Pain, Living in Purpose, Possessing the Promise. Come on.
Yes.
With the title there. She is a motivational speaker and CEO and founder of Ashes to Beauty Life Coaching. As a certified life coach, Ashley promotes healing while empowering and encouraging youth girls and women to become the best versions of themselves. Her experiences and exposure to trauma as a non-mentored youth, teen mom, and also a single mother of 7 inspired her to bring positive change to the world. Her motto is heal the girl, heal the world. Ashley lives in Tampa, Florida. And for her life coaching, autograph books, and speaking engagements, visit Ashes to Beauty. So it's ASHS, the number TO, or the number 2 beauty.com. So my gosh, here we go. So right here, here we go. Book. Check it out, guys.
Come on.
But hold on, let me do this. I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Because when you order your copy, see, we got blessed. We got the signed, the autograph copy. We got a little note and all the things in it. So let me tell y'all something. Order today. It's a very great read. I don't want to
Yes.
get into it too early, but it's a
Me too.
great read,
Yeah.
and it has moments of introspection and reflection throughout as well. So you're gonna, your life is gonna be changed by her story. So,
Yeah.
without further ado, like Ashley, thanks so much for joining. You hear this thunder? This thunder is rolling. I'm getting a little nervous.
And Zeke's quite.
It's okay. It was raining over here really bad earlier too. So listen, we just gonna keep rolling with the punches because the enemy cannot,
Yo,
will not.
let me tell you, I was trying to get things set up today, and my monitor kept going out. Like as I'm working on some of these overlays, I was like, "Lord, what is going on?" Because it doesn't do that. So it decided today that it wanted to. I said, "Devil, listen, you ain't gonna take our joy today. We're gonna have this great conversation. Lives are gonna be changed, and we just gonna continue to grow as people,
Yes.
as people of God." So as I mentioned before, without further ado, Ashley, thanks so much for joining us. We're super excited that you have accepted the call, if would, to hop on with us on one of our lives.
And thanks for your support too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, anytime that we've ever gone live, and I've gone live or whatever, so
Mhm.
you've always been one of them that like have supported us.
Yes.
Of course.
So
Cool. So without further ado, Ashley, go ahead and give the audience. Chaz read that lovely bio of you, but just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing, and then we'll just dive into the questions here.
Sure. So, as you know me, Devin, you know
Yeah.
me as Ashley Ash. I'm your normal around the way girl. I
Mhm.
wear this now coach hat, right? But
Mhm.
I don't want that title to confuse people and think that I'm on like a different level than them. No, we are the same. I think just because of my experiences and things that I have going through and I was able to overcome them, I'm able to help them walk them through that same thing. As you know, I did become a teen mom at the early age of 15 years old. And that in itself just changed my entire life. I just thought it was over right at that point. And God had a plan. And while we're in the middle of any type of pain, trauma, or what we would call like a whirlwind of all these different events happening in our life, we don't really understand what God is doing, right? We're just like, God, just hurry up and get me out of the situation. And
Yeah.
now, since I'm a little bit older, I'm a little bit wiser, and I overcame so much. God gave me a different perspective on why we go through the things we go through and how. Because God already said He knew the plans for our life, right? He
Right.
knew that I was going to be a professional coach and parenting coach, but I didn't know that when I was 15. You know,
Right.
I just wanted Him to fix my life. And so I was trying to speed up that process. And sometimes you just got to kind of just sit and wait, sit and let God be God. And so
Yes.
I'm just super excited to just use my life and be transparent and vulnerable with other people so that they can let their guard down and know that everything is going to be all right, no matter how nasty their background looks.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's super great, and I've been blessed to see your transformation. Like from high school, I don't think I really got to know you until I want to say junior, senior year, ninth grade. I knew and I've heard of you, but and it was around the pregnancy. I'm like, I don't even know who at the time it was Montgomery. I'm like, I don't even know who, because when they said your name, it was always Ashley. We had so many Ashleys all over the place, so it was always first name, last name when it came to you. I'm like, I don't know who this Ashley Montgomery is. Like, who is this? And I wasn't cool like everybody else, so it was whatever. But you mentioned earlier when you were just talking that you became a teen mom in high school. Like, walk us through that process. We know it's in the book, but let the audience, let the listeners know, like, as you were going through that process, what were some of the things that you were feeling? You were mentioning, like, hey, God, get me out of this. Like, what were the range of emotions? What was going on in your mind, having to deal with coming to school, being a teen mom, like facing, we in ninth grade, you know what I'm saying? So ninth grade was a little rough for me.
Right.
But yeah.
So
Talk us through that.
I remember like yesterday, it was the summer before our ninth grade year that I had became pregnant. And I was in like I I was just trying to really not believe that I was pregnant. So no one found out until I was about 28 weeks. Okay.
Mhm.
And when everybody found out, then I just kind of blew up. But when I found out, I really didn't, I guess, I don't know how to describe it, take it seriously. I just
Mhm.
thought I was going to wake up from a dream. Although I would
Sure.
wake up every morning and had this big belly and I could feel this baby moving and stuff. I was just like, what in the heck am I finna do with this child? It's something that's gonna come out of me. Like I didn't know what I was gonna do.
Mhm.
And so I was really afraid. I was scared. I was more scared that I was disappointing my grandmother and my mom because my mom was even a single mom, and I felt like I was putting so much more onto her when she struggled to take care of me and my brother. And then I was ashamed. I had a lot of guilt. Of course, when you become a teen mom or you're not married, people put that guilt and shame, on you. You just feel really nasty. You feel really dirty.
Mhm.
I remember being kicked out of my church. My church told me that I had to get out the teen scene and I
Oh,
had to
wow.
sit into the back of the church. They literally walked me out of the teen scene to the church, and I started to walk in the church. They was like, you gonna sit back here in the foyer. I
On
was
the
like, oh,
teen scene.
so
That's very
yeah,
telling. I know
yeah.
what church you was at.
Yes. So at that church, it was a lot of just pain that came just with one act. It was like
Mm,
continued. And then I just always just wanted to hide. I always wanted to just keep my head down. And it was just the emotions just of just not feeling good enough,
mhm.
And it wasn't the end of my life. It was
Right.
the beginning, of it. And I just didn't know that then.
Yeah.
So can we just like pause right there? So can you talk about just kind of like your process of like processing that and like healing? And maybe it was like, it didn't happen until maybe this will be a part of like the rebirth too, but like maybe it didn't happen until maybe 2 years ago of letting go of that. Or I don't, all that shame, all that guilt, all that nasty, dirty like
Yes.
thoughts, whatever. Can you maybe just like talk about that?
Oh, yes, of course. So to go back a little bit, because before I even got pregnant, I already had childhood trauma from my dad being absent in my life, which led
Mm,
Right.
me to getting pregnant
Yeah.
because I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I was searching for someone that actually looked like my dad, act like my dad, and would protect me like my dad should have, right?
Mhm.
mm,
And so with that, it took years, and actually a few years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, until I didn't start seeking the counseling that I needed, the
mhm,
therapy that I needed, the help,
Sure.
from my pastors, my
Yeah.
friends, because in the Black community, we don't like to say that we have a problem or an issue or that something is wrong with us. We got to keep whatever happened in the house in the
in the
house,
house. Yeah.
and you're labeled as being crazy, or you're talking too much, or you putting your family's business out if you go to talk and say, hey, I really need help, like I got some issues going on,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
And so I was not healed at all. I didn't even know the definition of that word. All I knew how to do is continue just to sweep things underneath the rug and to keep going, act
Yeah.
like I'm strong, keep a smile on your face, and keep going. And you better not cry too long about it, because tomorrow you got to show your face. So
mhm,
that's what I continued to do until
Wow.
that killed me.
Yeah.
That literally killed me, because when I got home at night and I was by myself and I had to face myself for real, and I was in here just boohoo crying, and nobody was there to deal with, all my hurt and pain and trauma. God was like, listen, this where you are, this brokenness, you being vulnerable and just saying that you're not all right. This is where I need you to be.
mm,
That is where God really needs you to be, so that you can get the help that you need. It's
Yeah.
going to
mhm,
take God, prayer,
Yeah.
fasting,
Yeah.
therapy,
Yeah.
psychologists,
Yeah.
friends,
Yes.
mhm,
pastors. It takes a whole village to help a
Yeah.
person. And it may not even be in that order. Some
mhm,
people only may need
Yeah.
2 of those things.
Yeah.
Me,
mhm,
it took all of them,
mhm,
because I had so much going on and I had it balled up. So many people think that our strong friends don't need help, but
mhm.
those are the ones that you need to focus on the
Oh,
most. And I was that
yes. Come
strong
on.
friend,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I was that strong
Yeah.
friend. And so
Mhm,
nobody paid attention, because they knew Ashley was the person that could deal with anything and bounce
Yeah.
back. In
mhm,
Yeah.
reality, Ashley was going, oh, crazy over here, like
mm,
Sure.
to just wanting to just take my life. I've
mm,
questioned suicide many times, many times. And to be
Wow.
honest with you, the only thing that really kept me here and to not take my life is my 12-year-old son. And I have
Mm.
7 kids, and it's not that I love any of them less or more. I just kind of feel like my son who has cystic fibrosis, if I was gone, no one would be able to take care of him in the
Mhm.
manner that I
Oh,
can.
sure.
So I was like, I cannot leave him, you
Mm.
know, like that. It's just not fair. So I just told God, listen, you got to help heal my heart. You got to help heal my soul.
Yeah.
I want to kind of take it back a little bit, because one of the disheartening things that I heard you say was being pregnant as a teen and going to church and not having the community around you that should have been around
Mhm.
you, and being walked out of the church. In that moment, did it change your perspective of, not specifically church, but did it change your perspective of who God was to you?
Yeah.
And then what was that process of getting back into relationship with God
Yeah.
after dealing with what some people would
Yeah.
say is church hurt?
Right.
Yeah, church hurt was real, and
Mm.
I was done with church. I ain't, to be honest with you, we just gonna keep it real. I wanted nothing to do with God and his disciples and his army. Nobody that was connected to God. I was done. Okay.
Mhm.
I was like, there's no way you can be God. And it feels like that because
Mm.
church is supposed to be a place that we go and get the healing. You know, we
Yeah.
consider a church like the
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody who feels good go to the hospital and say, hey, I'm feeling A1 today. Can y'all give me some vitamins? Can y'all give me some pills or shots? We're going to the hospital when we don't feel good.
Mhm.
So the same thing with the church. We're not looking for perfect people. Although we may seem like we're all put together, everybody has something that they're working on, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so as Christians, as believers, we have to be very, very careful on how we treat other people that are coming
Yeah.
in that are not on the level that we are at that moment. Okay.
Mhm.
Because when we first came in, we weren't like that. You know, we
Mhm.
didn't know God on the level that we do today. We had to
Right.
learn, and we're still growing every single day. Because even now, sometimes I be like, oh Lord, that's my flesh. You got to help me, God. You know, but I'm gonna tell you, me and God's relationship, I have gotten so close to him. I really know him for myself.
Mm.
Church for me was tradition. Church
Mhm.
for me was religion. We went on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays because my mama said I had to, right?
Mhm.
That was the schedule. But to actually know God, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
I did not know God. I just
Yeah.
knew, okay, y'all was reading out this Bible and then saying this is what God said, but I really didn't know him for myself. And
Mhm.
a couple years ago, when God talked to me for the first time, it scared the crap out of me. And it was like a real audio situation. And that's how Ashes to Beauty became flourishing. He woke me up, and I was constantly losing jobs, right? I'm good at everything I do. I build rapport with people. I went to school and got my health management degree because somebody told me to. Whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I went and did that, and that was not my calling. I just felt unfulfilled. And so he woke me up like at 3:30 in the morning, and he said, start the business. Now,
Mm.
Devin, Chaz, girl, I'm like, at this point, I only had a logo. Like
Mhm.
literally, I was talking with my twin sisters, my sister-in-laws and her sister, and I was saying, you know, I think I want to help girls and teens and moms. You know, it was just a thought with a
Mhm.
logo at that point in the
Mhm.
colors and all the little cute stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a business. So when he woke me up talking about start a business, first of all, we got bills. What? I don't even know how to be a business owner, God. Like, what are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Yeah.
So when he did that, I just was really just sitting there like looking crazy. My son was admitted to the hospital at that time. It was just so much going on, you know, in that
Mhm.
moment while God is trying to tell me to start a business. Also in that moment, I was going through an eviction with my kids.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm like, how is God telling me all of this? But it was so clear. And I'm glad that I was obedient to him because after that, like my life just took off. I
Mhm.
enjoy what I do. I don't see it as a job. My
Mhm.
clients become my family. And I want to, if I don't heal every girl, I want to heal every girl that God has assigned to me because I'm
Wow.
not for everybody. Everybody is not for me, you know. And so
Mhm.
whoever those people are, I want to make sure they get the help that they need.
Wow. 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 So, just to like sort of clarify, so 2 years ago is where you were in the traditional religion. I'm going to church out of obligation, just doing the traditional thing. But 2 years ago was that monumental moment where God like really solidified your relationship, or solidified
Yes.
like, hey, we need to partner with this, or that when He like revealed Himself to you was 2 years ago.
Yes,
Okay.
basically. That's really when I had to really face God. And and I always knew God was real,
Hmm.
but I really knew that he was real when he talked so clearly to me.
Hmm.
He was sending me people.
Mm.
People didn't like these strangers are coming
Hmm.
to me and they are saying exactly what I needed to know. And they would not
Wow.
know this information
Yeah.
if
Hmm.
it was not God. Just
Hmm.
imagine yourself walking to a grocery store and somebody come to you and say, "Hey, God said start that business. Don't forget." Wait,
Oh
and
my
just
God.
last night he told me to start the business, and I'm over here contemplating like,
Hmm. Hmm.
Lord.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. Cool. Mm.
Yeah.
So something you had said, and you say it a couple times in your book, is one, you dealt with just dealing with growing up without a father,
Hmm.
and then you also, what really struck me, and I thought that it's like this is so powerful to be able to hop on here tonight and to kind of dissect this a little bit, is you talking about how you really seeked and really desired for your mom to like want to, and I wrote this down. Um, you wanted love, like you wanted love and attention, and you wanted like that nurturing mom that you didn't get.
Hmm.
And your
Yes.
mom was, more kind of focused on her, you know, relationships,
Yeah.
and so what, so tell me, like, or just kind of share a little bit about uh, how you, like, maybe the things that you've done or implemented or whatever as it relates to like your kids, so maybe your kids
Oh,
don't
yes.
feel that way,
Hmm.
I
or
get it.
don't
I
grow
get it.
up feeling that way.
Hmm.
Yeah, so for one, we have to break your question down into separate parts. That's a great question. So for one, with my mom, now that I'm a little bit older and I can analyze what was going on. I knew my mom had her own trauma that she
Yeah,
was also
yeah,
facing, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
And
yeah,
a lot of times we don't know what a person is going through. And of course, as a child, you're
Hmm.
definitely not going to understand that. So
yeah,
as a mom now and all the trauma that I went through, like my kids wouldn't understand why I parent the way that I parent because of the
Hmm.
stuff
sure,
that because they didn't know at that time. Now that they're
Hmm.
older and I can sit down and be like, oh, I understand why she was always on edge or, like that. So the disconnection with me and my mom's relationship while we was growing up is not that she was a bad mom and all,
yeah,
because she was an awesome mom.
yeah,
I love my mom,
yeah,
to death. You only get one mom,
yeah,
but she didn't get the attention and the love that she needed either.
sure,
Hmm.
So
yeah,
it's just like the lack of knowledge, or if you don't know how to do something or you weren't showing anything, how can you do it?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think that I was asking for something that she didn't even know how to provide. And I
sure,
was
yeah,
angry with her
yes,
that she couldn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so with that, what I did, I made it my business to make sure that
yeah,
I was the total opposite of not only my mom, but my dad too, because
Hmm.
sure,
my dad wasn't in the house to show me anything. That was absolute 0%. And
mm,
then the little percent that my mom did give me, it just wasn't enough. So it equated as if I didn't have anything. And
Hmm.
so I overcompensated with my
mm,
kids. Quality time and loving, like I just did so much. I didn't want my kids to not have, and not material things, not
Hmm.
yeah,
toys and gadgets or money,
yeah,
not
yeah,
those things. Like time, quality time for me and my kids was my thing. And
mm,
I always had an open door policy. Like if my kids wanted to talk, say we were on the phone right now and my daughter walked in here and she say, "Hey mom, something going," like I gotta shut y'all down because
Hmm.
I need my daughter to understand that what she needs to talk to me about is important and I have the time for her, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
what I lacked in is that I didn't provide a lot of mother okay, so discipline.
Mhm.
They didn't know that, okay, she mama and I'm the child and I have to respect her.
Mhm.
So as my older kids began to grow up, it was a lot of stuff that kind of just got swept underneath the rug, or I didn't pay a lot of attention to because my main focus was on the love and the quality time versus the
Mhm.
discipline and the guidance and making sure they were mentored right and that kind of stuff. And so they had a lot of not a lot, but they had some behavior challenges because my focus was just on one part of motherhood.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
As we all live and learn, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like,
Yeah.
we certainly haven't arrived yet as far as
At
parents,
all.
you know what I mean? And just the things that, oh my gosh, excuse me.
You're fine. You're fine.
As far as the things that, we do and how we parent and man, yeah. Do you have something? I got
Yeah.
something to
One
kind of
thing, let me
rewind about.
tell you,
Yeah.
is that I tell people all the time that the parent that you are today versus the parent that you were when you had your first child is going to be a totally different experience. Like my
Mhm.
oldest son is
Come
19
on.
years old and my
Wow.
youngest is 4. So
Okay.
if you were to sit down and have a conversation with my oldest son and you ask him like, hey, what was your life like, growing up with your mom? Because I ask them this all the time. I always ask my kids, like, how can I do better? What is something that you feel that I'm not
Come
doing?
on.
Because we're not always right. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
voices.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
And so with my oldest son, I was a 15-year-old mom. So
Sure.
imagine that. The
Yeah.
15-year-old mom to the mom who's 30 years old, at that time, you can't compare the two. Like I was
Yeah.
a child raising him. I
Mhm.
had
Mhm.
little to no patience. I didn't know what I was doing. He was a guinea pig that I was experimenting with.
Yeah.
So he probably can write his own book about me. My 4-year-old though, he's gonna have a whole totally different perspective about me and like
Yeah.
how I raised him because
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more patient.
Yeah.
I understand a little bit more and
Mhm.
I got more time for him and I'm a better listener,
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff. So it's always gonna be something different.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, we follow each other on Facebook. So I see the relationship that you have, specifically with your daughter now, and how you two are really close. And I assume that as you were raising her, and you were that the parent that overcompensated, and you grew that bond. What was it like when you had to draw the boundaries between friend and parent? When you were making that how old was she? Or how old were your
So
older kids when that started to happen? And
Oh
then,
man, I seen a shift. Well, first of all, the teenage years. Listen, let me tell you about something about motherhood. That's the hood part that nobody don't want to tell you about. When you get to teenage years, that's the hood you don't want to be in. Just leave. Just leave. I was not ready. I was not ready. I tell all my other kids, listen, your brother Tyrell, they got your mama ready for the army. Like I swear, I done did like 17 years in the Navy, the army. You need a whole like spacesuit on to deal with these kids. I was like, God, whatever I did, I just come to you right now with forgiveness. Like, please, I repent. I repent. But it really was challenging because they were so used to just it being me and them, right? And
Mhm.
so then when I got married, my husband was the one that kind of like was pointing out stuff like, hey, you see how he talked to you? Did you see what she did? She just snapped her mouth and she walked away. And I'm like, I'm so used to that's what it was doing. I didn't even notice it, right? Because it had been going on for so long. It was my normal. Then you got somebody that's coming in that's trying to give that structure. So I'm like, well, these my kids. So what I
Sure.
got an attitude. It was just so much,
Mhm.
going on. So it was challenging. Me and my husband's relationship kind of started the dent because of the kids, because I was so focused on me and my kids'
Mhm.
relationship and trying to just be there for him and listen that I wasn't listening to my husband. And he was right. He was right. I had to actually go to my husband and apologize and go back. You know what? All them years you were saying that I should have did A, B, and C.
Mhm.
I really wish that I would have listened to you because it's true.
Yeah.
And so when you try to go backwards, it's very hard to try to go back to something that when they're little, 3, 4, 5 years old, that they need to know that, hey, when I'm talking, don't talk back to me. When I say it the first time, that's it. We're not going back and forth. And you're trying to do it at 15, 16 and 17. They like, child, please.
I'm almost out the house. What you doing? You
Yeah.
think you
Right,
got it?
right. Don't do what? Like, so it's very hard at that point. I would not recommend that. I would definitely create those boundaries early because it was very, very hard for me. And it's still an ongoing thing. Kids are gonna be kids. It's
Yeah.
hard being a kid, it's hard being a teenager, all the hormones and stuff, and then a parent, like you gotta remember we were kids too. So I kind of try
Yeah.
to how was I feeling when I was 13 or 14 and stuff? Like we think with the wiser mind, us like, why would you do something so stupid?
Right,
It's
right.
not really stupid because at 14 I was kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, go ahead.
Well, I just was gonna say, I mean, there's things that Devin kind of like calls our oldest out that I was like, I just kind of let slide, and he's like, oh no, she ain't gonna do that. Like she's not gonna talk that way, or
Not at
she's not gonna do this, or she's not gonna get away with that. Like let's try this again,
Right.
So yeah, I feel like it's good to have. I don't know, like it's good to.
It's imperative
That
for
other-
the team. Let me tell you, when God had this whole vision of creating the earth and he made Adam and Eve, he knew his plan, okay? Because he knew the man was set to be the leader
Yeah.
in the leader of the
Yeah.
household, okay?
Yeah.
Because notice, Chaz, you can probably say to those kids 50 times a day, stop that. You've been going all day. Devin walk in the door and it's just silence. Everybody looking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so y'all can't move now. Jump from the ceiling. That couch. What's going on? It's just like that level of respect. Like, I mean, even like with men, how their voices are deeper in that baritone. It's like, whoa. And we're like, stop it. Stop. And then Devin like, you better go sit down. It's just like it's just
Better do it.
important to just have that balance. And that's just what I was longing for, just to give my kids a family that I didn't have. And yeah.
Gotcha. So, Mother's Day is Sunday, so we're super
Yes.
excited, and happy pre-Mother's Day to you.
Thank you. You too, Chad.
And to my
Yeah.
lovely, to my bride. So transitioning, because we were talking about Chaz's Chaz 2.0 when you were on our live and when you went to pop on. How did you what were the phases of motherhood that you went through? You were a teen mom, and then you had another child as you were an adult.
Yes.
What were the phases of motherhood that you went through, and what went through, and then what did you learn in each and every?
Oh man. Okay, so it was the teen parent, phase. So really in that phase, for the first couple of years, I wasn't really my oldest son's mom. And I know that kind of sounds crazy, but when you're 15, your mom is both of y'all moms. So whatever my mom said is kind of what went. I didn't really have I couldn't dictate anything, So
Sure.
until I moved out when I was like 17 years old is when I think became like a mom. So that the teen part was maybe like a learning experience and just gaining my independence, And so as I continued to have more children, I did kind of feel like I was setting myself up for a lot of responsibility, because as those relationships didn't work, I shifted into a single mother. And then it was always another child. So it was my oldest child. By the time I had my second one, he was 4 years old. And then 2 years after that was my daughter. And, at that time, I'm like 20 years old. And now I got 3 kids, working on my 4th one. The 4th one is the one that was born with chronic disease. And now I'm a mom of 4, but now you're adding more responsibility of a child that is special needs. And then I'm also a single mom, and none of their fathers are helping or in the house or anything like that. So I just had all these blocks just kind of thrown on me of taking care of children, because motherhood is beautiful, but it's also overwhelming sometimes. I want people to understand that it's not always candies, rainbows, and butterflies.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't feel like doing it. Sometimes you feel like giving up. Sometimes you feel like you don't have anybody. You just want to just cry. You just want to just run away. And I think in that moment of having so many kids at a young age and then having to deal with one with a disability, I didn't feel that anyone understood me because everybody around my age, they didn't have that many kids. Or if they did have one, they had more resources than me. They had a family that kind of helped them out a little bit more. And so then I had more kids, but then by this time I'm getting married. And then at that point, I'm thinking, hey, this is I'm winning now because at least I got 5 kids. I got my husband, and then we had 2. He had 2 from a previous, relationship. So we had 9 together. I always wanted a family. I never looked at the number of the kids. I love big family, like whatever, I needed to do to have a family. I was just focused on that. So even if that wasn't the person that God said I should have been with, because he chose me and said yes, I'm like, I'm God, I'm gonna go, because I'm gonna say yes. So I said yes, and I transitioned to being a wife. And I thought that all my troubles was gonna be washed away once I became a bride. And no, ma'am. I was at the altar with all this baggage. I came with all this luggage. I came with all these rocks on my back. I came with totes that was full of trauma and pain, like all types of stuff from years I brought to the altar with me. And then I made it his responsibility to try to heal me. Now imagine that.
Wow.
So in our marriage early on, our foundation was already shaky because we both came to the altar with all this stuff that wasn't fixed as individuals before we became one, right? So when we became one, we're trying to just figure it out because we're winging this. Neither on both sides of the families did we have a relationship or a marriage that we can look at and say, hey, I want to be like auntie so and so or uncle so or my parents. We didn't have any relationship to go by, so we just was doing what we thought we could do. And then ultimately my marriage did it didn't go so well. I'm not gonna say it failed because I used to say that my marriage failed, but no, I learned a lot. And what I learned, Damon, this is the second part of your question, is that you got to sit and rest and learn to listen to God and let him order your steps, because I was ordering all of my steps.
Sure.
I learned how to be a control freak from my grandma and also my mother because they were the head of the household. The men kind of let the women do what they needed to do. So I was like, if I want this done, this is how it's gonna be. And I didn't allow my husband to be a husband and a man and a leader and a protector. But then I was on the other side was saying, why you ain't doing this and that? You're not letting them. How you gonna ask for a man and you is the man? You see? So I just learned that I gotta be softer. I gotta be a woman. I have breasts. You know what I'm saying? I have female parts. I am not a man. And I can never be a man. You know what I'm saying? So God made me to be a woman, and I have to sit and rest in that. And so that's what I learned, is that in every part of those life to just relinquish that control.
Wow, that's so good.
Yeah.
Ooh. That was a lot. I think, Ashley, touching on a little bit what you had mentioned about, just going into marriage, with baggage. And, that's something that, whatever baggage that, it is. So whether it's, from all that you've experienced, man, like, I think for me, I had dealt with, we were talking a little bit before we had gone live, like I had to, there's 2 instances that I had, sexual assault cases, or instances, and, one that I received, counseling before, we got married, and, one that I literally received counseling last year. And, what a like, you just don't know, like, the process or how long your healing is going to take, or going back to what you said about, like, someone's process about healing. It may take the Bible, it may take just prayer, or it may take 7 things. It may take a therapist, a psychologist, a pastor, a your life coach, you know, whatever that looks like. And so I think it's easy, you know, like if you're a believer or whatever, to say like, oh, we got God or I got God, you know, like I'm good. And that was
Right.
me.
Yeah.
And that, you know, like that was me. But what you said, like that's so good. And to be able to like recognize that everybody's journey to healing from trauma is different. And
Very different.
oh my gosh. And so it's just
Very
like,
different.
yeah, I was like, you know, why all of a sudden, I mean, this situation happened when I was 18, and it's like, here I am last year bawling my eyes out, you know, from a situation, and like, where did this come from, kind of a thing, you know what I mean? And so I just was, yeah, I don't know.
So Chaz, that's good that you said and that you pointed this out, because I was the same way and I didn't know what was going on, right? But see, a lot of time people think that there's just this healing, like this magic bomb, or you snap your fingers and you're just healed. Healing is an ongoing process,
Yeah.
okay?
Right.
And it's every single day, it's every single month, it's every single year. And a lot of times when you think that you have overcame or you reach this peak of complete healing, then something happens that triggers, right? It takes you back to where you were, or to that moment that you can remember everything that went on. See, like when I got out of my, you know, my marriage, and I thought I was good. I thought I was good to talk to other people, you know, and start seeing, because I'm thinking, you know, it's time for me to have a little fun and meet other people. No, that was my time to really sit and rest, get to know Ashley, just be by yourself, love on you, work on a relationship with God. Because when I got with another person, or, you know, just dating, you know, nothing serious, with just dating, that person would do something and it would trigger me. And now I'm just like so mad and just angry. You looking like, well, where this came from? From a situation when I was 16, you said the same thing he did. Now I want to punch you in your nose.
Wow.
For real. It can be, and we're laughing about it, but it really can be something serious that we don't even know. It can be triggered in the most craziest situations, and then it has us crying for fiercely and just like going crazy. So I understand where you're coming from, Chaz. I have been there. I suffered from depression and anxiety, and even as a coach, I had a couple days to where, because as a coach, we're kind of like everybody's go-to person. So I'm the fixer, right? I'm the person that helps you heal, and I give you all the steps. But what about me? What about when I need the steps to get to where I need to go? And I always tell, don't hire a coach that doesn't have a coach. I have my own coach. I have my own mentors too, because when I have those days and like, Coach Ashley ain't no coach no more, let me take this. I don't feel the same, you know? And my coach, she'll come in like, because I want to keep going. Like, no, I got to be there for my clients. I got to be, and I'm not feeling good inside. She say, no, today is not the day. You got to tell them you can't make it. And then I would feel guilty, right? But then I go to my, you know what? I want to give you the best of me. And if I'm not all right, nobody else is gonna be all right. You know? So
Can I ask you a question? So at what point were you like, all right, I am not doing anything else until I write this book? Like what was like that moment that I was like, all right, I gotta write this book.
Girl, okay.
Yeah.
So the year before, what year are we in? Okay, we were in 23. So this was December of 21. I got invited to, her name is Miss Sabrina Henley. She's a photographer. At the time, she was just doing photography, but God transitioned her to being a branding like coach and strategic, I don't know how to say that word, person or whatever, right? So she had an event that got all like inspiring entrepreneurs, like experience.
Oh Lord.
And your brand. Hold on. Is it? Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you, but you're kind of delaying. It's raining here, so our weather can give a drop of rain and our Wi-Fi goes out. But you're delaying. Can you hear us? I don't think it's you, Ash. I think we're good now. Talk.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, we're good. Can
Little buddy.
Can you hear us?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you
Yeah.
hear us? Yeah, we're good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm talking from my phone, but I don't know if you guys can see me from my laptop.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, so I'm talking from my
I can see you.
phone, but I don't know if you guys. Okay, I think it's back. Laptop.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, so I'm talking from my
I can see you.
phone, but I don't know if you guys. Okay, I think it's back. Laptop.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, so I'm talking from my
I can see you.
phone, but I don't know if you guys. Okay, I think it's back.
Oh.
Laptop.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, so I'm talking from
I can see you.
but I don't know.
You're
Okay,
good. I think there's just a
it's
delay
back.
with the sound.
Yes, we can see you. Okay, so I'm talking from my phone, but I don't know. Okay.
Oh, I think we lost her.
Oh. Maybe she'll. Yeah. There we
Oh,
go.
there she is.
In the name of Jesus.
Right.
In the name of
I think we're back.
Jesus. All right. All right.
I'm sorry, guys. I
No,
know
Nene,
that
you're good.
Yeah.
I ran and all kind of stuff.
No, you're good. You're good.
So in December of 21, Sabrina Henley, she did an entrepreneur event, and I was like, I have to go to this event. Now when I looked at the prices, it kind of spooked me because I didn't really have the money for it like that. But I was like, okay, God was like, listen, just go. So I used my last to go to her event, and I'm glad that I did, because when I tell you that it changed my entire life. I went to her event, and she had like a panel of speakers, and there was this speaker called Octoria Robinson, and she is a person that helps other authors write their books. She
We
has her
love
own
Yeah, we
her.
love her. Yeah.
We love her.
Yes, she is so beautiful. And so listen, we have similar stories. She was a teen mom and stuff too.
Right.
So it was very refreshing to hear another woman be transparent and open, like, hey, I got
Oh.
5 kids and I done been through this and I done been through this.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, wow, I'm not the only one. You know?
Yeah.
So she had me in tears. And so she had a class that was called Write That Book.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't have the money for her class either. I'm looking at the ticket price, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make this class. But she actually was able to work with me. I went up to her and I told her my desire to be in her class. I was like, well, it'll be next time. Whenever I get the money, I'll get back to you. In that moment, she just grabbed my hands and she began to pray with me. And she said that I was destined for greatness right then and there. And then when she said that, like, tears rolled down my face, and she was like, whatever you can do, pay me. And I pay her until I can pay the full balance, right?
Yeah.
And I just appreciate her for that. But from that class, it was I think it was like 8 or 9 week class, and we would meet once or twice a week. And she said by the end of her class, we would have at least 2 chapters written.
Wow.
By the end of her class, I already had half of my book done.
Wow.
Okay. I, like, for years, 14, 15 years, I had stopping and going with this book. And it was nothing but God, because I couldn't finish writing the book because my story wasn't even done. So yeah, it made sense as to why. But from the time that I took Octoria's class, it took me only 4 months to write Rebirth 1.
Wow.
Rebirth 1. And then I got introduced to my business manager named Nicole Phillips. And I got into this program for entrepreneurs in Pinellas County, where they had scholarships and grants, and they helped me build my brand and my business. So I paid just a fraction of the cost for me to do. So I honestly didn't pay what typically a lot of people would pay, because blessings just started coming.
Wow.
Like, just out of just everywhere. And all because I was obedient from paying the money that I didn't think I had. And so, that's when it changed my life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What was as you were writing your book, I know you picked it up and you put it down. As you were writing the book, like, what range of emotions, or how did you have to stop and pause and have a therapy session as you
Yeah.
were like
Yes.
writing?
Reliving.
Yeah, as you were reliving some of
Reliving
the.
your moment.
Yeah.
Oh God. So in Octoria's class, this was the number one thing that I kept hearing her voice replay.
Mm,
She was saying that as you write, if you're thinking too hard or you get stuck in a situation, she says that is when you are no longer being authentic.
mm,
So when she said that, I'm like, oh, because think about it. When you're writing, if you're just writing and you're telling the truth and you're not trying to leave nothing out or cover it up or
mhm,
whatever you want to do, make it pretty, and you're just gonna go.
mhm,
But when you're trying to fix it to have the story to fit whatever,
mhm,
storyline you want it to fit or whatever you want people to believe, then that's when you start having a problem, and people call it writer's block and all that.
mhm,
Nope. When I took her advice, I was free for all. Like I was
mm.
my pen, and she had to teach me this too, that I was old school. I would literally write with notebook and pen, and then
Oh
I would come
wow.
back to the computer later. She was like, "Girl, what?"
Yeah.
She said, "If you don't get on your computer and type it." So I learned that just in 2022 that I can type my whole book on the computer and not have to have these notebooks.
Do you still
Not
have them?
written with
Do
my
you still have them,
hand.
by the way?
I do. I still
Oh
have them,
my
and they're the full book is not in the notebook because I stopped, while she
Mhm.
was teaching me. But
Right.
yeah, it was a lifesaver because you can just edit. I mean, it was so much easier.
Right.
So
Mm.
I learned a lot.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, we love Octoria.
Victoria.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's just a name, just one of those names where it's like you just don't forget. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like
Yeah,
name,
yeah,
personality,
Mhm.
story. You know what I mean? Just all
yeah.
about her. Just as like you just don't
Just
forget.
so
Right.
vibrant. She's very transparent. It's just her spirit. You just
Yeah,
feel warm
yeah,
around.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I try to be. I just want to be able to be myself. I'm
yeah.
outgoing, and I'm just loud, and I'm gonna get your life. Like you may not
Yeah.
like me some days, but it's
Mhm.
okay because we're
Come
trying to
on.
get you from A to B, ashes to
Exactly.
beauty. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So, I was gonna say. So we're like almost an hour into this.
yes,
I was gonna say, what's going on? But
Let me ask you a quick question.
yeah,
So we've talked about your story. We've talked about you getting to the book, becoming the author, Ashley. I know that there are people who are going to watch this and they're like,
yeah,
I'm a single mom. I'm
right,
struggling.
yes.
I need someone to come alongside me, lock arms with me. Talk to us a little bit about your coaching program and how you coach. Do you coach women specifically? Do you coach couples
so
Or
I
teens.
do
or teens?
women. I
Yeah,
also do kids and young men too.
Hmm.
And that the men and the boys were actually introduced to me because God said that I was not only going to be for women and girls. I thought I
Mm-hmm.
was, and it was like, no, you're going to be healing families. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that He newly brought to me just a few months ago. But
Mm-hmm.
as of right now, my target audience and my clients are a majority of women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with the women, that are, single moms or teenage mothers, single adults, like whatever it is, I am that go-to person for you. The best advice that I can give the moms is just to take it a day at a time, and
mm-hmm.
that you
Yeah.
matter
That was gonna be
and
my
you
question.
come first before anyone else. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get that self-care. I just was joking with Chaz
Yes.
before the podcast that
Yeah.
listen, Sunday, my godmom said that. She said she's not mothering on Sunday. I am not either. Do not call me for nothing. I'm not making no Kool-Aid. Okay, I don't care if you got a boo-boo on your head. You better call Jesus before you call me because I'm not gonna give you nothing. For
Who gonna
real,
make the
you
collard
need
greens,
that
the banana
break.
pudding, the red velvet
And
cake?
mac and cheese.
Nothing,
Nobody.
nothing. You need that time. You need that break
Yes.
just from being a mom. My
Yeah.
identity was lost in being someone's mom. I didn't
Yeah.
even know who I was,
That's good.
So I'm like, no, I'm your mama, but I was Ash first. So
Yeah,
That's so good.
yeah.
Self-care, and I think that's one of the self-care, and just like recognizing when you have to draw the line
Mm-hmm.
and just say no, or
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
boundaries.
our jobs are never done look for you example. Like I have older kids, so I'm on this broadcast because I have trained my older kids that if I'm in a meeting or I'm in a class, like this is what I need to have done. And can you make sure that your 4-year-old brother don't run in the room screaming, hollering, mommy for some Legos or something? Okay? But as for you guys, you have little, you have younger children, so you
Yeah.
can't. So you have your baby, in your lap. While and this is we have to parent
Mhm.
while we're working or while we're trying to do stuff, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so that just comes with the punches is that we just do it without even second guessing. Like,
Mhm.
look at her. Chaz is doing it. She's the bomb.com.
Handling business, I
The
tell you,
baby is just content. I mean, come on, girl.
yes.
Kudos to you.
Yeah, and then he's sleep regressing too, so he's gonna be up again at 1 o'clock in the morning. No, but
Oh man.
and I'll piggyback off of that because my wife Chaz has just been phenomenal. She's sleep trained all of our kids so that not just she but we
Yeah.
can sleep through the night.
Yes.
Like she was very adamant. These kids about to go to bed all night.
Yes.
They're gonna go to sleep all night.
And sleep in your bed.
And sleep in your own bed.
Right. Oh God.
So yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Say what now?
I said yes, for real, in your own bed. Because
Yeah.
I had one that didn't get out of our bed, so he was about 3.
But so your coaching program is for currently young women. You'll be opening it up for young men soon. What can young women expect from Coach Ashley? Is it a stepped process? Is it we kind of talk through where you are now and where you desire to be, and I come alongside you? What does it
Yeah.
look like having Ashley as a coach?
So what I do is it's not a cookie cutter program. I know
Mhm.
some coaches do their thing kind of different. They just have one straight program and everybody does the same thing. I am not like that. I literally built a custom plan just for you. So when
Mhm.
I meet with you, our first meeting is me getting to know you and you getting to know me. Like you're not gonna hire me if we're not meshing together. Am I right for you? This is an interview not only for me, but it's
Yeah.
also for you.
Mm.
Do you
good.
want to hire me and do I want to take you on as a client?
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good.
Several different questions to see where you are, where you want to be, because a lot of times people say that they want the help, and then you go to asking all these qualifying questions, and they really don't want the help.
Sure.
Right.
They
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
they just want to waste time. So I'm just like, no,
Mhm.
you're not really ready yet. So
Yeah.
when we do have that interview process and we see where you are, I create an action plan that's specifically for you on where
Mhm.
you want to go. So
Mhm.
some people are a little bit further off than others. I have some moms that don't have their kids in their homes right now. So
Mm.
Yeah.
they wouldn't need a coaching plan that has it structured when the kids are in the home because they're not
Oh,
there
sure.
yet. We have
Mhm.
to work on learning how to be a mom all over
Mhm.
again. Like, are
Right.
you even mentally ready? How are you for yourself first before you even try to become, full-time mom again? Because that's a whole nother thing.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I'm with you. I'm hands-on. I'm in your house with you. So I do some one-on-ones like this on Zoom. A lot of people like to be face to face, so I'm in the home. I go to their homes, to their house, their jobs, wherever they want me to come. I'm very flexible. I
Mhm.
work with my moms because I have working moms. They're single parents. They can't,
Oh, sure.
time
Yeah.
is very limited. You see,
Yeah.
Right.
whatever works for them, I would do. But they have my cell phone number. I am the coach that listen. When you need me, I am here. Call me.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
have a few that have called me, in the middle of the night. I'm like, hello, and
Mhm.
they just like bawling their eyes out. I'm just trying because you need to have a person. Just imagine not being able to reach someone in your time of like
Mhm.
really, really needing someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
want
good.
any woman to feel like they couldn't reach me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so with that, you have a friend, you have a mentor, but you have someone that's actually just like you that will be there for you.
Mhm.
And then to reach every milestone. So every single week, we'll have whatever we're working on for that week. At
Mhm.
the end of the week, we'll do an overview to see
Mhm.
like, look, this is where you were, this is what you learned, and this is now what you're doing. So
Mhm.
it looks very, very good. Definitely holding hands. They're not doing this alone.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful. So if
Yeah.
anyone is finding that you're having some struggle, in your life as a parent, as a woman, like definitely reach out to Ash. I left her handles down here. as well, so you can connect with her. Do you are you local to Florida now, or are you okay?
I'm able to coach via Zoom, of
Okay,
course, through all states and cities. But
okay.
yes, so if you're in Tampa, Lakeland, Brandon, Riverview, Ruskin, all
Mhm.
those cities, I'm locally where I can like drive to you, or you can drive to my office.
Mm.
Okay, cool.
And
Yeah.
when can, for everybody, I already know the answer, but when can, Ziki do, when can everybody expect Rebirth numero dos?
Now the Rebirth 2 will be officially out by August. So
Okay.
right after the
Cool.
summertime, I'm actually going to be done with it by summer, but it takes a little time for publishing and editing and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
So by August, the Rebirth 2, and then you can get the rest of the story, because I know
Come
I
on.
left y'all on the cliffhanger like, what?
Yes.
Listen, I read that book and I'm like, now I know she did not just do this. You can find the rest in the. I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna call and get the tea. No.
Right. So definitely gonna get your copies. And the second copy for you guys, I'm sending complimentary for you.
Oh
So just
wow.
thank you for your support, and I'll resend that to you as soon as it's published.
Yeah, when it's published, we're gonna have
Oh
you
my
back on again. We're gonna dive deep.
Yes.
All
For
right.
sure.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Ashley, for your time.
Yes.
Wow.
You.
What a powerful time.
So that's all, folks. Thanks so much for joining. Shelton,
Yes.
thanks so much for commenting. We're super excited for what Ashley has going on. If you need a coach, Ashley is your girl. She's
Yes.
gonna walk with you.
Yeah.
She's gonna make sure you get the healing that you need to be the person that you need to be to those around you. So thanks again, Ashley. Super appreciative for you jumping on.
All right. Y'all have a
Happy
good night.
Mother's Day, Ashley.
You feel beautiful.
All right. Thank
All right.
you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.